Here's Gary Johnson ahead of the game with Dagenham. Gary, first of all, I was looking at the injury list and it's reminiscent kind of emergency ward 7, I think. What's the latest? How many have you got? Any players back, or is it still going to be kind of what's left?
No, we're hoping to get people back. I mean, a few of them were close at the weekend, but unfortunately they didn't make it. And you get medical advice, and you've got to make sure that you're taking on their advice if they're going to be the experts. And some would have been set back a little bit more if we'd have played them. So we have to make sure that it's at the right time. And I think this weekend, touch wood, hopefully, they'll come out of their emergency ward, as you say, and be available to us. So we won't know until really tomorrow to see how they cope with today and then how they feel tomorrow.
Are you more confident about certain players, and if so, which ones do you think may well be able to feature at the weekend?
Well, I don't want to put any names out there really, to be honest with you, because you know what I'm like, I'm paranoid about the opposition. We was just all looking at a little plane coming over there, wondering whether Dagenham could afford somebody scouting. But no, but we are looking to a couple of them to come back, that's for sure. And but if I say it and then they don't come back, people say, "What do you know?" and all that sort of stuff. So I'll leave that to when we give the team out on Saturday.
How frustrating is that kind of touch and go-ness that you have over a couple of, because you'll obviously want to have your team preparation pretty much bang on today and certainly for tomorrow.
Ideally, that's exactly what you want. We normally do our organisation on a Thursday. Our set plays on a Friday, so that we get all the organisational stuff in. But you can't when the boys are, this physio says, well, we need them, and the doctor says we need them for another couple of days. A couple of them have got concussion or had concussion, so there's a protocol with that anyway. So it's always a difficult one that when we're not sure who you've got, because you want to be working with them all week. But the ones that have been working, to be fair, have they got a little clip round the ear on Monday when we came in our meeting, and we showed them the video. And obviously the game at this level, small margins, of course, where fine margins, where we miss a goal in the first couple of minutes and they score quite soon after, and from then on you're chasing the game, and you have a couple of other chances. We had a great chance right at the end with Reedy, which normally he gets onto, and he didn't quite get there. So it is fine margin. So we're having to chastise them a little bit and then make sure that they're mentally ready for the next opponents. And we think that we're in that position at this moment in time. We've got a good group of lads that understand what they should be doing. They've just got to produce it more often.
You mentioned kind of the chastising there and things like that. You're almost a quarter of the way through the season, and you will be once this game is through. I think it's 4 wins, 4 losses, and 3 defeats in there as well. And if you were a school teacher and you were given kind of a half-term or an end-of-term report at a kind of a place like that, how would you grade your squad at the moment? How would you grade what you've done this season?
Well, where are we? We're 10th. Took a couple of points off the playoffs. So I've said we'll compete, but those fine margins mean sometimes you lose a game you might have won. Other times you've drawn a game that you might have won, drawn a game you might have lost. So I would say we're in there competing. Only the Solihull game was we really, really poor. And they've shown that at this level even they're inconsistent as well, because they haven't had too many results since then. So as long as the boys keep believing, and you see in their heads that they're believing in what we're doing, from the training and from the games, and when we pick them up on what we need to pick them up on, then you know that they're still up for it. Every now and again they can have a poor game, but when too many have a poor game on the day, then you get beat at this level. So the grade, I wouldn't know the grade. I think I said a B+ the other day. It would have been an A if we'd have got a result. where was it? Where did we play? At, where? Oh yeah, Chesterfield.
Yeah.
See, I've forgotten it already.
That's the way to be, I
yes,
think, isn't
that
it?
is the way to be, and you move on to the next one. But you know, if we'd have got a result then, it would have been an A sort of thing, as A, B, C. So at the moment, it's a B, and you know, we need to get up into the A pretty quick and not drop down into any C scenarios. So, but I judge that by the mental state of the boys, and I'm hoping that they're ready for Saturday's game.
Two more from me. The first, Dagenham at the weekend. What do you make of the opposition you're going to be facing? Where do you think the strengths might lie there?
Well, they're on a good run at the moment. We seem to be coming up against teams that keep having good runs just before we play. But other than Chesterfield, of course. Peter Taylor's a good manager. He's been around a long time. We've had many competition in the two dugouts, not as enemies but as friendly rivals, and I respect him a lot. And you know, what a player he was, by the way, for those that could remember him at Tottenham and things. So I've got every respect for him, and I think he has for me. So you know, we'll both be desperately trying to win the game, of course, but because you know, a couple of good results in the next couple of games will put us in a good playoff position, as it will with Dagenham. So it's good that it's all to play for, really. You know, it's every game's a big game, it seems, and that's what how we got to treat this one. So they've got some strengths. Of course, we're trying to work on their strengths and their weaknesses and ours, because at this level, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses.
And finally, from me, we chat to Lucas in a bit. Not many Brazilian goalkeepers in the National League. What attracted you to Lucas initially when you decided you would come in and get him, and how do you feel he's performed this season?
I think he's done okay. I think he'd be disappointed with himself for the goal at Chesterfield, because that was a time we needed him to be positive. I think he thought that the goal or the player was offside. It was a ball that got played back in pretty quick from us having it. But 5 minutes after that, he's made a match-winning save. Or we didn't win the match, but he's you know, made a great save. And I think he's been a great inclusion to our squad. It's not to the detriment of Sean McDonald, because he was magnificent last year, and I think Sean had the first 4 or 5 games. Lucas has had the next 6 or 7 games, and at some stage I'm going to have to pick a number 1 and a number 2, without sort of giving ourselves a problem and not keeping any sort of continuity. You know, I don't want to give one and then the other one, then the other one. So eventually we're going to have to choose. But what we know is I've got 2 first-team goalkeepers. They get on. They're good, you know, competitors, so they want to compete with each other, and that will make them both better goalkeepers anyway. And that they both got the attributes to have a good career in the game.